Hey, Dr. Bob here with the Mason Method for Natural Childbirth, and in this video I want to talk about what to do if your labor stalls. So, it's common for women to start labor and start having contractions, and you start to increase the intensity of the contractions as time goes on. They start to become closer and closer together, but there are a certain number of women that will notice this process come to a screeching halt and their contractions just somewhat go away. So in this video I want to show you what you can do to get these contractions started again. And there's basically 4 movements that I'm going to explain here and show you what they look like. And you do these in a certain sequence, and I found women that follow these can usually get labor progressing again. Now I will say, in addition to these 4 movements, it's always important that you try to change your environment. So like if you're sitting in your house and you've been laboring throughout this whole process, maybe you go outside and you walk around, and just getting into a different environment, it can change your state, and that can actually get labor going again also. So make sure you change your environment. If you do these 4 movements and labor doesn't pick up again, I say that you should embrace that. I think your body is in control of labor. I've told people this for a very long time. The baby initiates labor, and the baby works with you to go through this process, from start to finish, and you should listen to your body. So if your labor stalls and it doesn't pick back up again, I think you should embrace that. That, to me, is your body's way of telling you to rest, to lay down, to take a nap, to get in a bath, whatever you have to do to be comfortable, to eat, to make sure that you're sustaining your energy so that when the contractions do come back again, you're going to be prepared for them. So first off, try these 4 movements that I'm going to explain here. If that doesn't work, change your environment, and then if that doesn't work, rest and be prepared for when labor starts again. Okay, so here are the 4 positions for a stalled labor. So the first one's called side lying release. I apologize, I don't have a video of these movements. I did, and it somehow got released, but I feel like I can explain it through these pictures pretty well. They're pretty simple movements. So, for example, this side lying release, in this position, I'm up against this table, so I'm supporting her so she doesn't fall off. That's number 1, most important thing to do. And you can see where I have my hand on her back. That's not where you want to have it. You can see where I put this arrow. Where the arrow goes in the second picture, that's where you want your hand to be. And I'm eventually stabilizing her hips and her pelvis. From a scale from 1 to 10, like 10 being the firmest pressure I could put, I'm probably at about like a 5 or a 6. And basically, she extends her leg out. So in this diagram, she extends her right leg out. Her right leg would start off and it would be parallel to the floor. So like her right leg, her foot would be somewhere around like my lower back in this picture. And I hold her pelvis in place. I don't allow her to roll onto her stomach or anything like that. And she holds her foot straight out, even with my back, or somewhere around in there, wherever she can go. And we hold this stretch for 30 seconds. And as time goes on, her leg is slowly going to drift down to the ground. So like in the pictures here, she's had her leg extended for 30 seconds and it's stretched down to the ground. That's what you want. And you might see, woman gets in this position and her hips are already loose, so her leg goes straight down to the ground, and that's great. That's what you want. But if it's not, you want to hold that position until her foot does start to drop down further. And then you want to repeat this on the other side. So you're going to do that one first, and then number 2, you're going to go into the sacral release. So you can see the sacral bone is the triangular shaped bone. It's right in between both of your hips. It is going to be right below your spine, below your lumbar spine. So you can see the diagram of it here. And the motion that the partner is doing is what we call a rocking motion. So he's basically putting the palm of his hand on the upper part of her sacrum. He's going to apply pressure for a couple of seconds. And then immediately he's going to go down to the lower part of her sacrum, and he's going to do the same thing. So he's going to apply pressure to the lower part of her sacrum. And it's almost like he's rocking it back and forth. So he'll push on the upper part of her sacrum, and apply pressure, push it forward, and then he's going to go down to the lower part of her sacrum and do the same thing. And you're going to repeat this for a few minutes. It's actually a great pain management strategy that you can do, but to get labor starting again, we're trying to get this bone rocking and get it moving forward. And then the next movement is called forward leaning inversion. With all these movements, you want to check with your healthcare professional before you start any of them. In particular, this movement is important. So anyone that's ever had any type of circulatory, a stroke, blood pressure issue, anything like that, you want to make sure that you're healthy enough to do this movement. But if you are, you're going to start off on a chair or on the stairs or your couch or somewhere like this, and you're going to lean down and put pressure. All of her weight's going to go on her forearms and her elbows, so she's never on her head or her chest or anything like that. And she's going to hold this movement and take 3 or 4 deep breaths and hold it for about 30 seconds. And this is a bizarre looking movement. I will admit it looks crazy if you've never seen it before, especially if you're pregnant. Again, you want to have the partner in the picture and watching to make sure that everything is safe for the woman. And this is a great movement if the baby's breached, if you're having pain. It's just overall, it's a really good movement. But in particular, if labor stalls, you want to do this one next. And then the fourth movement is called Rebozo sifting, and you're going to hold this position with this scarf. Essentially, it's a sifting movement. So if you've ever sifted, sugar or something like that, that's what it looks like. So you can buy these scarves on Amazon. They're called Rebozo scarves, but this one we're using is not even a scarf that's made for this. It's just one that we had in our closet. And basically in this picture, I'm holding on to both ends as if I'm, holding the reins of a horse. And when my left arm goes up, my right arm goes down. And then vice versa, when my right hand goes up, my left hand goes down. And it starts off as a slow movement, a back and forth. And then I slowly speed the process up. And again, it looks like I'm sifting, but it's a vibrating movement more than anything. And again, this is a great pain management strategy also. You can do this during labor, do this during contractions. Women love this. It feels great because it takes pressure off of their belly. You basically take the weight of their belly, but this can get labor started again also. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We try to provide a lot of information for women to have an amazing birth experience, and we do that through tips, strategies, and techniques similar to these.